The governor, the mayor, the police commissioner, the U.S. attorney. And here's the lieutenant colonel from state police, Timothy Albin.
Ready? And I thought you all went home. We are so grateful to be here right now. We're so grateful to bring justice and a closure to this case. To those families that lost loved ones or suffered injuries that they'll live with the rest of their lives. For a police officer, a young man starting a career at MIT, and a police officer with the MBTA who almost lost his life, and for neighborhoods that lived in fear for an entire day, we are eternally grateful for the outcome here tonight. We have a suspect in custody. I want to thank all of the partners who worked tirelessly over the last 4 days, including the FBI, the Transit Police, our brothers with the Boston Police Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the support that we've gotten from our governor over the last 4 days. We're exhausted, folks, but we have a victory here tonight. But let's not forget those people along the way. Thanks very much. Governor?
Thank you, Colonel. Well, on behalf of Crystal and Martin and Lindsay, on behalf of the MIT officer who was lost last night and the transit police officer who was injured, on behalf of the hundreds of people who were hurt by the explosions at the marathon, I want to say how grateful I am to the Colonel, to the Special Agent in charge, Rick Delorier, to all of the law enforcement who worked so well and so hard together to bring us to tonight's conclusion. It was a very, very complicated case, a very challenging case, and there are still some questions remaining to be answered. But as the Colonel said, because of that extraordinary collaboration and cooperation by all of these law enforcement resources and assets, and more to the point, people, professionals, who brought their A game, we have a suspect in custody tonight. I want to also just thank all of the members of the public for their extraordinary patience, their participation in this investigation by reviewing photographs of their own and others that were up through the media, and we thank you for that, and helping us narrow in on these suspects. They were helpful and patient, and we are grateful for that as well. It's a night where I think we're all going to rest easy. Carmen?
Excuse me. Good evening. I'm United States Attorney Carmen Ortiz, and I have to say that both the governor and the colonel have put it tremendously well. Tonight, we feel a tremendous sense of gratitude and relief. The ordeal that this community, especially this neighborhood, has endured over the last 24 hours. Tonight, we can sleep a bit easier. And all of the unpredictable, horrific and yet heroic acts that have occurred over the last several days, starting with the terrible bombing attacks that occurred on Monday. Here we are, and not forgetting the victims of the crimes that have occurred over the last several days. The victims of the bombings, as the governor said, Martin, Lindsay, Crystal. 2 officers who have been hurt, one who lost his life, Sean Collier, Richard Donahue, who is fighting for his life. Our thoughts and our prayers are with their families. Tonight you're going to have many questions, but I want to say, as I have said the last several days, this has been a very active and ongoing investigation. And although for some of you tonight is a closure, for me, the journey continues. And so this will continue to be an ongoing and active investigation as we sort all the details, continue to evaluate a tremendous amount of evidence, and file our formal charges. But I will say this, I have never been prouder to stand with a tremendous group of law enforcement here, from the colonel to the commissioner, to my federal colleague, Rick Delorier with the FBI, all of the federal agencies, the state and local departments that have worked so hard since the attacks on Monday, so committed and putting their lives on the line as we fought the last 24 hours to try to get a suspect into custody. And so my journey and my office's journey begins, and this investigation will continue, so we will not be able to provide the details that you may want at this time, but as the days continue, you will get answers to those questions. Thank you.
Mayor Menino?
Thank you. I just want to say very briefly, thank you. Thank you to the law enforcement officials who work together. State police, Boston police, FBI, all working together. That's when government works the best. I want to thank also the citizens out there. For the last week, worked in unknown what's happening out there because of the bombing at the marathon. But today, because of the hard work of so many individuals, my Boston police working together with the state police, we have a conclusion that we're all satisfied with. But also, folks, have to remember the folks who lost their lives this past week. This shall go on. We're a better city than what happened this past week, and we'll get better. And to all of you folks out in the media, thank you for the support you gave us for this past week. It wasn't easy. Some days you said to us, why? Let me tell you, we're there working hard. I want to say I spent a lot of time with the law enforcement officials. They worked so hard this week to come to a conclusion. Night, we say thank you to them for the work they did, tracing down every one of those leads that we got, which is so significant to what came to the end of this case today. Carmen Ortiz, now it's up to her job to bring in the federal courts. But I tell you, I feel so good about this. I tell you, I'm so happy because the people of our greater Boston area will be able to sleep tonight because of the work of these individuals.
Good evening. My name is Rick Delorier. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Boston Division. It seems like many months since Monday, April 15th, the day of the Boston Marathon bombings. Yet it has been merely 5 days since the tragic explosions that took 3 lives, critically injured over 180 spectators, and instilled terror and fear among the citizens of the city of Boston, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and elsewhere. Today, the city of Boston, the city of Cambridge, and the city of Watertown, and many other communities can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that 2 perpetrators who caused so much pain and anguish are no longer a threat to our personal safety and to our communities. Together, with the action and support of our Joint Terrorism Task Force partners, many of which are on the stage with me this evening, the FBI and our partners remain vigilant and continue to follow through thousands of leads and sifted through hundreds of tips, through thousands of man-hours to reach this moment. This was truly an absolutely intense investigation, and I do emphasize a truly intense investigation. As a result of that, justice is being served for the victims of these terrible crimes. I want to personally express the FBI's profound thanks to each of our partners for bringing us to this moment here this evening. No one agency alone accomplished this critically important task of keeping the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts safe. Thank you very much, and I support you. I thank you for your support of our media campaign the other day, which publicized the photos. I thank you very, very much for the support that the media provided us on that. It was phenomenal, and I thank each and every one of you tonight. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you.
4 days ago, my city was ruthlessly attacked. There's no explaining the savagery involved here. There's no explanation for it. I spent the last several days looking at hundreds of hours of videotape. I got to see how brutal that attack was over and over and over again. But more importantly, I got to see what the Boston police officers who responded to that scene, along with the medical personnel and the other first responders, did to put people back together. Tourniquets, stemming the bleeding with their hands, putting a man who was on fire out with their hands. These are the kind of things that came out of this savagery. It makes me proud to be a Boston police officer. It makes me proud to be a part of this team. Rick Delorier from the FBI could not be more cooperative. We've sat together almost hour for hour for the last 4 days, sharing every single bit of information in a real team. Colonel Albans, the same way. Carmen Ortiz, with us all the time. And then, to bring the governor and the mayor together, leading the city of Boston in responding to this. I finally just want to say that the citizens of the city have been incredible. They've been patient with us. They've endured an enormous amount of heartache and aggravation over the last 4 days. But we're very happy to try to put this back together. Thank you.
Watertown Police Chief DeVoe.
As the police chief of Watertown, I can't be prouder of my community and the men and women of the Watertown Police Department. What they've been through, what we've been through the last 24 hours, I wouldn't want to see another police department go through. The support that we've had from all the different agencies that have been mentioned tonight over the last 24 hours has been incredible. To see so many agencies work together with the governor, with the mayor of Boston, and our officials in Watertown has been really great. I've spoken to the people in Watertown before, but I can't thank you enough. The community stood strong, and it was a call from a resident of Watertown. We asked you to remain vigilant, and you did. We got that call, and we got the guy. And so we can't thank you enough. You've done everything and more than we've asked. Extremely proud of law enforcement today and what we've accomplished. Thank you.
Chief, did you have communication with the suspect?
Excuse me, we're not done. Chief McMillin from the MBTA.
I just want to thank all those who sent their thoughts and prayers to Officer Donahue and his family. Please know that it was deeply appreciated. Thank you. And I also want to commend all of the law enforcement agencies who took part in this. This is truly dedication and commitment at its best, and I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Special Agent in charge of the ATF.
My name is Joseph Anarumo, Special Agent in charge of ATF.
Over here, around me.
All right. Today, the entire world witnessed this law enforcement's community commitment to apprehending these offenders. Make no doubt that this combined effort will never cease in its protection of every city, every town, and every neighborhood in our nation. The prayers from every ATF employee will continue to go out to the victims as they heal from this senseless act of violence. May God bless the citizens.
Suffolk County District Attorney Dan Conley.
Thank you very much. I was listening to the police action all afternoon on the radio, and I'd like to join my voice, or add my voice, I should say, to those who came before me to say what an extraordinary police operation across all jurisdictions that I was able to listen to and witness today. I was down at the scene early on, and in our business, Carmen, myself, it's about accountability, and I can't say how happy I am, how pleased I am that the second subject was taken alive. This will really ensure accountability for the victims and their families. So congratulations to all law enforcement for a job very well done, and now the task ahead for accountability. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take questions.
How did the events transpire at the boat?
There was a call that came into the Watertown police. 3 Boston police officers, along with state troopers and FBI agents, responded to Franklin Street. A man had gone out of his house after being inside the house all day, abiding by our request to stay inside. He walked outside and he saw blood on a boat in the backyard. He then opened the tarp on the top of the boat, and he looked in and saw a man covered with blood. He retreated and called us. We set up a perimeter around that boat, and over the course of the next hour or so, we exchanged gunfire with the suspect who was inside the boat, and ultimately the hostage rescue team of the FBI made an entry into the boat and removed the suspect who was still alive in the boat.
Can you talk about the imperative of taking him alive? Can you talk about the imperative of taking him alive? How much...
we always want to take all of the suspects alive.
I understand that, sir. But can you talk about it in the context of this particular individual? You talk about accountability. Can you talk about why you want to take him?
We always want to take somebody alive so that we can find out what happened, why it happened, and we can hold them for justice.
Other individuals, how badly injured is this suspect?
Communication with this suspect?
How
seriously injured?
There was the hostage rescue team actually did work in trying to negotiate him out of that boat. They did try to talk him out, although from what I understand, he was not communicative.
Other people have also been taken into custody as well, reportedly. Have they aided and abetted the suspect?
There's been actually, I don't have that information.
Commissioner Davis, can you talk about the suspect's
suspects out there that you've got your guy? This is it.
I think that based upon our investigation at this point in time, the citizens of the city of Boston in this area can be confident that the threat has been removed.
What kind of condition is the suspect? What kind of condition?
Suspect is in serious condition at the hospital.
If they didn't rob any 7-Eleven, how did you know that these were the suspects you were looking for? They didn't rob the 7-Eleven, so how did you know that they were there at the same time?
The suspects came to our attention after a vicious assassination of the police officer at MIT, and a subsequent robbery that occurred where we got videotape from a gas station. The robbery actually was a carjacking. The car was taken from the scene. And officers engaged that car from the Watertown Police Department along with other officers. We were then able to put the case together.
Can you mistake this action in New Bedford?
Shot when you were apprehending him at the boat? Was he shot by a police officer?
The man who found him at the boat said that he was covered with blood. We assume that those injuries occurred the evening before. There was an exchange of gunfire at the boat. I don't know if he was struck.
You think the suspect was trying to plant another bomb?
There was a house in New Bedford that the hostage rescue team went into from the FBI because we felt that it was important to the investigation, but the suspect was not found.
Given that he was still out there and armed...
I'm sorry.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you call the assassination of Officer Collier? Was he shot in cold blood in his cruiser? What do you know about it?
My assessment of that particular incident is that he was assassinated in his cruiser.
And do you know what he was doing there?
He was responding to a call for a disturbance.
Given that he was out there, still armed, was it a mistake to give the all clear and let people go outside? Couldn't they have been at risk?
We certainly did not give an all clear. We made it clear that people, and Colonel Albans is here and spoke very eloquently to this. This was a very serious and dangerous situation. We had no information that the suspect was still holed up in this particular area. He managed to elude us by being just slightly outside of the perimeter that we set up. But in truth, we told everybody that this was a dangerous situation and they should be cautious. This is a very dangerous time in the world. We have to use caution. That's what we ask people to do. Thankfully, this man who found the suspect called us right away, did the right thing, got on 911. We were able to come in and take care of the situation.
Did he have explosives with him when he was captured?
There's no report of explosives with him capture. But I got to tell you, I was at the scene last night just after this incident occurred. There was an exchange of over 200 rounds of gunfire. There were improvised explosive devices and handmade hand grenades that were thrown at the officers at the scene. This is the stuff that in an urban police department, it's almost unheard of. So these officers acted heroically, courageously. They protected the community, and they protected each other when they responded to this scene. I'm so proud of the actions of the Watertown Police, the State Police, the Boston Police. It's been an incredible team.
So what was his weapon?
He did. You know what? I can't say. I was told that there was an exchange of gunfire. I was not there when he was taken out of the boat.
No Miranda warning. Claiming public exemption. The reason, could you explain that for us?
Actually, the United States Attorney may want to, or the FBI may want to explain that up. It's a federal issue.
What are the extent
the boat was searched earlier today?
Just a minute. We're going to finish the question.
No, it did not.
What was the question?
Reports tonight are that there was no Miranda warning given, that they were claiming a public safety exemption. Could we get an explanation for that?
There is a public safety exemption in cases of national security and potential charges involving acts of terrorism, and so the government has that opportunity right now, though I believe that the suspect has been taken to a hospital. So we'll start with there. Thank you. Yes? I'm sorry.
Do you seek the federal death penalty?
You know, what I indicated earlier is that this is still an active and ongoing investigation. We're going to be reviewing all of the evidence. Before that kind of a decision is made in terms of whether or not to seek the death penalty, you review all of the evidence, and it's a very thoughtful, long process that is engaged, and it's the Attorney General of the Department of Justice that makes that final decision. Thank you.
Went straight to the.
I'm sorry, Karen.
Went straight to the vote, and then can you or Colonel Alvin talk to us a little bit about what happened when you were on the scene? Was he moving around? How did you know it was finally a chance to take him into custody?
Yes, I'm going to let.
We know he didn't go straight to the boat. We set up the perimeter with the best intentions, with a lot of information. That we found blood in the car that he abandoned. We found blood behind a house inside the perimeter. So we had no information that he had gotten outside of the perimeter. As we said, it was very chaotic early this morning. We had to aid a police officer that was shot, bleeding. And so there was a lot of things going on. We thought we got the perimeter solid, and we pretty much did that, but we were about 1 block away. So, but he had to be moving a little bit after he was behind a house for a period of time that we know.
And then when you got there, though, was he moving? And how did you know that you could take him into custody? Had he been moving around? You were able to watch him?
Yeah.
Sure. The reason that we knew this is our helicopter had actually detected the subject in the boat. We have a what's called a FLIR, a forward-looking infrared device on that helicopter. It picked up the heat signature of the individual, even though he was underneath what appeared to be the shrink wrap or a cover on the boat itself. And there was movement from that point on, and the helicopter was able to direct the tactical teams over to that area and ultimately take him into custody.
Did police search the boat during the day in the perimeter?
Yeah, it was outside the perimeter during the day, so it was not searched. This was the act of a citizen that went out and discovered this individual in the boat, and ultimately called the Watertown Police Department, and resulted in this our response.
What were the suspects doing at MIT? Were they planning another bombing?
The suspect won't make it and won't live to tell the story of what happened?
I'm sorry?
Is there a chance the suspect won't make it?
I don't know. I did not see him when he was taken into custody. I know he's in serious condition, but I don't know to what extent. I think we've taken enough questions for now. Thank you.